Alright, so as of yesterday, we ended with slicing a list. So if I have list, and I have it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So this is my days of the week. So if I wanted just the weekend, right? What do you guys consider the weekend? Is Friday the weekend?
No, sometimes.
No.
Okay. So it'd just be Saturday and Sunday. So if I wanted to do weekend is, how would I slice the list? Brendan?
It'd be something like list one and then brackets you have like, wait, hold on. 5, 6 maybe?
Not 5, 6.
5, 6.
We have colons. If we're slicing a list, it's colons. So, let's see. Weekend is only Saturday. Is Sunday the last thing in the list?
No, maybe I'm not done.
Well, is Sunday the last item in the list?
Yes.
Okay. What happens if I don't put anything after the colon? If I don't specify an end point, where do you think it ends?
The beginning.
No.
The end.
Literally the exact opposite of the answer, Ezra.
The middle.
No. You're halfway.
The middle, the opposite of the end.
So if you don't, so with list slicing, if you don't put anything after the colon, it goes to the end of the list. Now, if you don't put anything at the beginning, where do you think it starts?
Middle.
The beginning.
It's not the beginning, Ezra.
Oh wait, it's not the beginning?
It's the end.
It goes until the whatever this number is.
So do we have to remember this? Because I feel like I'm not going to remember it. I didn't get it.
You have to remember. I mean, you'll slice the list and look at it and go, "Oh, I did something wrong. I didn't end it at the right point." But you will need to know how to splice lists.
Oh yeah, eventually.
So, notice, what's the index of M in our original list? What's the index of M?
0.
What's this? Index of this?
2,
3, 4. I typed in 5. It does not give me index 5.
Oh, because it's everything before 5.
It's everything before 5.
So if you do 5, 7 for the first one, but it do the same thing.
So it does not include 5. It's just
It would. You could also do actually no, you can't.
what?
That's the same thing as 5, 6. What's the -1 index of list 1?
Sunday.
Sunday. So if this goes from 5, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here's 5. And it goes until -1. Does it include -1? No, it's like range.
Why?
I don't know why that is. That's just how it is, so get used to it.
It's so weird. I don't like it. Wait, so if you do a colon at the end, it goes till the end?
If you do, hang on, what'd you say?
I'm just looking at the previous code, like,
Yeah, if you don't have an endpoint, it goes to the end of the list.
and then it's
So what if you
opposite
have a
for,
colon? It doesn't just want to go 1.
If you don't have the colon,
no, I mean, like,
it just shows the fifth index. So weekend is now, it's not a list, it's just the 5th item. Well, technically the 6th item, but the 5th index. So weekend is just a string now. It's not a list or anything, but if I were to do, weekend, what do you think would happen with, what do you think weekend now equals?
the whole list.
The whole list? Why do you say it's the whole list, Stockton?
I didn't specify anything, so it's gonna give you everything.
Say that again?
I didn't specify anything, so it's gonna give you everything.
Yep, I didn't specify a start point, nor did I specify an end point, so by default, it starts at the beginning and ends at the end. And that is actually, this is not something that is covered right now, but this is how you copy a list. So I'm gonna go, so list 1 is that, list 2 is list 1. So list 2 is the same as list 1, right? List 1 bracket 0 is now gonna be Monday. And we're gonna go over this in just a second, but this is how you change an item in a list. So now list 1 is Monday to T whatever. What do you think list 2 is? Do you think list 2 has Monday at the beginning, or does it have M?
That's because you haven't changed it.
I'm so lost.
What? Why is this updated?
It means that the way it works, and the book explains this better than I do. But for now, because we're gonna get to it, I can't remember if it's today or later. But what it's doing is we have a list here, and basically what we're doing is we're using two variables to reference the same value.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's all it is. Two variables have the same value. So if I change the value of one, then I change the value of the other. So if I were to say x is 5, y here,
So each variable is setting the
whiteboard. So for lists, yes. So for lists, if I were to say in math, oh, I don't like green. So if I were to say x is 5 and then y equals x, what does y equal right now? 5. Then if I were to say x is 15, what does y equal? Y, because y equals x. Whatever x is, y is. And that's the way it works with lists. If you do it the way I just did, where I just have list 1 equals list 2, that means whatever this equals, this will always equal. Something called a reference ID. I'm not 100% sure why it's only that. Like if I were to have x's, actually, hang on. I've never tested this before, so I just had the thought. So let's try x is 10, y is x. X is now 100. Nope, yeah, y doesn't change. I didn't think it did, but what?
Didn't we learn that before that didn't happen?
What? So if x is 10, yeah, I'm not 100% sure why it only works with lists, because I don't think it works. I don't think it does that with dictionaries either. I think it's only lists, but I don't know why. I'm not 100% sure.
So instead of the program making like 2 separate lists and then changing them based on the variables, it just uses one underlying list for the 2 variables.
Yeah, and
Really trippy.
And the way you fix that, so if I have, let me do this again. So list 1 is Monday, and list 2 has Monday. If I do list 2 equals list 1 like this, okay, so list 2 looks the exact same. It's the same as list 1. You guys paying attention? Okay. So if I change list 1 and I say this is now back to just an M, right, back to our original type of list, list 2 stays different, because what I did is I said list 2 does not equal list 1, it equals a slice of list 1. So it essentially creates a new list if you do it this way. If you don't do it this way, then it references the same list. But if you do this, what it makes a copy basically, because it's taking a slice of the list, but because I don't specify start or end, it just takes the whole list.
So you can use that to take only like the first
That
item if you so choose.
Yeah, this is what I was doing with the weekend. I was making a new list based off our original list. So again, I'm getting a little ahead of us. We're going to go over that more in the book. I'm going to let that percolate in your brain. Meanwhile, we're going to continue with what it has in the book. How many items are in that list? List 2. Oh, oops. So list 3 has how many items? All right. I don't want to count, right? So how do I determine how many items are in a list? Who remembers the function?
That's len list.
Len list 3 gives me 21. That's a lot easier than having to count them all out, right? That is just how many things are in there. So I have 1 item, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way to 21. However, that's a good question. If I were to put list 3, 21, what happens? I'm going to get out of range because indexes start at 0. When we count the number of things in an item, we always start at 1. Make sense? Questions? Questions so far? You guys sure? Ezra, you said no to both. So you don't have a question, but you're not sure. Do you have a question?
No.
No? I'll give you guys like 45 minutes to work on some practice problems. So don't worry, you'll have practice. So I've already gone over this. So you change the value in a list with indexes. So if we have list 1, let's say I wanted to change this to Sunday. I wanted Sunday to be the full word, right? I do that by redefining that specific index. So what is the index of Sunday? Wrong. Yes. It's not 7 because even though there's 7 items in here, and this is really confusing about lists, is that the length of the list might be 7, but the indexes are 0 to 6. So that's a very common mistake, so don't feel bad. I even sometimes do it now when lists can get really confusing, so don't freak out, don't worry. So this would be index 6, so I would do list 1, bracket 6, and then I would make this equal to Sunday. So now list 1 is MTWTHFSA Sunday.
Why is it not Monday?
Because I changed it back up here.
Oh, okay.
If I wanted to change Monday, what would I type in?
List 0, 1, 0. It's all 0, 0, 0. Right.
What do I want Monday changed to? Monday Fun Day?
Monday is not a Monday.
Monday's now a Monday.
Yeah, that we just defined Monday as Fun Day.
When has Mondays ever been such a
Look at the code. It's yourself.
Yeah, right here.
Monday is fun day. It's
My
really
bad,
fun
my
day.
bad.
You don't have school Monday? I bet that's a fun day.
Well, that is a fun
Monday,
day.
yeah, it is a fun day.
Monday Colum Day.
Monday's fun.
Do you guys have questions on that?
Contains T, Taco Tuesday.
How would I do that?
List 1, 1 equals Taco Tuesday.
That's what I'm having for dinner tonight.
Taco.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is it Tuesday?
It is Tuesday.
Oh, I think it's a joke.
Oh, well.
Well,
All right.
No,
So,
like the Lego is.
list concatenation and list replication. What does concatenate mean?
put together.
To put together, yes. It's not adding together because you can only add what?
Numbers.
You can only add numbers. Yeah, we can't add words together. We have to concatenate them together. So, I have list 1 and list 2. I want to combine these. What do you think I do?
I got it.
Ezra,
String list 1 plus string list 2.
you can't string an entire list.
Oh. Aren't the items already stringed?
It is I mean it does this. It's a stringified version of the entire list, but you don't need to do that. You can just do list 1 plus list 2.
Mike, you gave me the wrong answer.
Wait. So, but that doesn't work if your list has numbers in it. If your list consists of integers, right?
No, it does.
Yeah, why wouldn't it?
It's just taking this list and go, okay, here's one list.
Okay.
I'm
So
taking
not-
everything from this list and putting it in there so I have one really big list.
So it's not concatenating the individual.
Nope, it's not concatenating the individual things, it's adding the lists together. Josh.
So if you wanted to like add like all the numbers in a list together, you couldn't because they're all individually stringed.
Well, there's no numbers in these lists. So if we did num list is 1, 2, 3, then we have num underscore list 2 is 4, 5, 6. There's a couple ways you could do this. You could do a for loop, which is a little complex. You can do sum of num list 1 plus sum of num list 2. I forgot. You guys didn't catch that one. Bummer. So that adds, what's the sum of 1, 2, 3? What's the sum of 4, 5, 6?
15.
Then it adds 6 plus 15 together because it gets the sum of list 1, adds these together. Now if I did sum of list 1, what's going to happen? Remember, this is list 1 up here. This is the string version. What? Perfect. Exactly it. A type error. You can't add. Oh, you said that too? I didn't hear it. I'm sorry. Kudos to both Ezra and Catherine. If I had candy, I'd give you both candy. Yeah, I don't have candy. Yes, Catherine.
What is, if you add two lists together, you can't have like list two in the like find the string inside the list.
Say that again.
If you add two lists together, they're like one list.
Mm-hmm.
So we can do like find in the list two, the second number of list two, which we learned yesterday.
You want to add just the second letter, the second index to a list?
No, it's like the find the second number in the second list.
Oh, you're talking about two-dimensional lists. A list inside of a list. Okay, so if we were to do, let's do this up here. So list 1 is list 2, so let's add x equals that. So now x is that whole thing. It's now just one big list with 14 items. So you could do x bracket 0 to get Monday Funday, or x bracket 13 to get this one. We're not putting one list inside of another list. We're taking two lists and making one long list.
So then how do you like put a list inside a list?
You could do, so if we have list 1, we could do list 1 bracket 0 equals list 2. So now we have Monday, we have a list inside of a list. So what we're doing is we're saying the 0 index, so Monday Funday, now equals all of list 2. So that's how you put a list inside of a list. Does that make sense? Any questions on how to change the values, Ezra?
But by doing that, you have to remove one of the values or objects from the list.
Yes, you redefine it, yeah. We're going to go over probably Thursday what are called methods, and that allows you to add something to a list. Methods are basically things you can do to a list. Currently what we're doing, what we can do with lists as opposed to what you can do to a list, if that makes any sense. So list concatenation, list replication. Do you guys have any questions on how to concatenate lists? And it's just like concatenating strings. There's no spaces, there's nothing. It just takes this list, adds it to this list to get a big list. List replication. So let's do list 1. I'm going to change this back to Monday Fun Day because I like that. Oops. So, what if I wanted this to be replicated 4 times for a month? 4 weeks in a month. Any idea? If I want a string to be repeated 15 times, what do I do? Times 15. So what do I do with list 1? Well, I don't want it ran 15 times. I want it ran 4. So it just repeats it 4 times. So instead of adding list 1 plus list 1 plus list 1 plus list 1, it's list 1 times 4, and it gives you this. So now this is every day in a month. Well, a month of February. Unless it's a leap year.
It's kind of satisfying.
So you can make that's like an arbitrary number, so you can make this up if you
Oops. Okay, don't want to do that.
want.
Well, I'll do a really good number.
Don't. It'll.
Like 300.
Could like draw
Don't.
a picture.
Don't do more. Don't do more than 20.
Wait, what happens if you go over 20?
It does this where it squeezes text, so I have 985 lines.
Oh, click to expand it, please. Oh no, please. Oh,
The squeezed output is very long.
Yep.
65,000 characters. Expanding it can make idle slow or unresponsive. It is recommended to view or copy the output instead.
I've printed
No,
E
you
too
gotta.
many
Oh,
times.
that's amazing. Hey, Josh, why is your cursor?
I know, what is the point of this?
Why is my computer working?
Jonathan?
Because you just froze your computer.
Yes, I
That's
shall
amazing.
print.
Josh here has a cursor that's like.
Now I gotta retype all those lists because of you guys. No, that was worth it. Okay, so list replication. Really the only time... Yes.
Have you ever been able to get idle to crash?
Yes.
I've crashed out.
So list replication is really useful if you want to create a loop or if you want to create a list using a loop. So you could do times is, this is going to be an input, but I'm just going to say the user types in 5 because I don't want to type in input. You can do list 1 equals an empty. If you do times 5, doesn't do anything because what's 0 times 5? 0. What you can do is if you put something in here, let's say it's a blank string, it will do that 5 times. So now I have a list of 5 items, and now I can have the user say, I can now have the user rewrite those as opposed to adding them. Now, that probably doesn't make sense to you guys. So let me re-explain it. Let's say I have employees. I have 10 employees. And I have list emp is, I don't know their wages. Right? So I am just going to put a placeholder of 0 times employees. So now I have a list underscore emp, and that's 10 zeros, and I can say, user is input. I could put, please enter the index of the employee that you want to change. What index do we want to change? 4. So, list emp bracket user. Oh, it needs to be an integer. Is 0. But now what I can do is I can do equals input. Please enter that Ugh. I'll answer your question in a sec, Catherine. What's your question?
Well, like, is that user already like the very first line?
This one? Yeah, so this is a number, right? And I typed in 4. So now user equal. User is a string version of 4 because I didn't put integer right here. So then what I do is I have list of the employee, which is my list of employee wages, and I want the integer version of 4, which is 4. So that's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's this value right here. That's 0. And now what I'm doing is I am changing that 0 to be 1559 by using this line right here. So 1559, if I were to do list underscore emp, questions, comments, concerns? No. No interpretive dancing here.
Dances.
That's a Mr. T thing.
I'm not Mr. T.
What are you saying?
I don't look
I've
like.
never seen the two of you in the same room.
In this class, I've
Wow.
printed
Wait a
videos
minute.
more.
Okay. So we need to keep going. So I want to delete. All right. So let's say employee index 4 got fired. It's very easy to delete something from a list. You just literally type the words DEL. What do you think that stands for? And then you put the index of that item. So we would do list emp bracket 4. So now when I do list emp, I now only have 9 items and 1559 is gone.
Oh, isn't that problematic? Now all of your other items have shifted over one.
Yep. So anything, so this is still 0, 1, 2, 3. It's literally, it's as if we just got rid of it. So everything shifts over. So if I were to count you guys up, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? There's 10 of you. This actually works really well. And let's say we got rid of index 4. So Ezra, go stand in the hallway.
Adios.
Don't close your, just go stand by the door. Right? So again, remember, your guys' numbers when Ezra was here was 0, 1, 2, 3. Ezra was 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. With Ezra being deleted, you're still 0, 1, 2, 3. You are now 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So everyone's value, the index, just shifted. And how many people do we have in this class now? 9, yep. Which means our max index is going to be 8. Yeah, you can sit down. Thank you very much, Ezra.
I'm glad you stood up. I can do that.
Can you?
Stop.
It would have been really funny if someone like just grabbed his foot as he tried to stand up, or someone had like tied his shoelace to the chair so he couldn't actually stand up. That would have been awesome.
No, we should just hog time.
No, we can't hog tie him. That's rude.
Like Nickelodeon level.
All right, Catherine, you had a question.
So if we do like for length of the list is greater than 4, and then delete like 4, so we can delete 4 and then
Say that again.
do for the length of the list is bigger than 4. So like this is all bigger than 4.
Okay.
And delete list 4. So that's a loop. Continue to delete the 4th person.
So you're wanting it to delete everything after 4?
Would that work?
Probably. If you want, I would just, instead of doing that, I would just do new list is emp underscore list. What list emp? Oh, list emp. I would do this instead. That would just give me the first 4, and now I have a new list while maintaining the old list. So it's a little simpler. You could do a loop to loop through and delete the 4th value every single time, but this would probably be easier, faster, and fewer mistakes. Also, so we're going working with lists. So let's say I wanted the user to create a list, and I'm actually going to edit your homework because I forgot, because I want you guys to be able to create your own lists, and I did not put that in the homework. So I will edit that. But we do got to get through this pretty quickly because I want to give you guys plenty of time to work on stuff. I'll give you your test back. I still have yet to decide if it's retakes or corrections, but no curve. I never do curves. I never do curves. It means if the highest grade was a 90, that is now 100, or I add 10% to everyone's grade. Yeah, but if someone gets 100 or 98, it doesn't really help you by adding 2%. Or if someone got 100, then it's 0%. Then I add 0.
Mr. Mathis, he multiplies everyone's score times 0.6.
I don't know why
and
you
you add
still like
25.
that would be me.
So I guess still got 100.
Yeah, no, I don't do curves.
Oh, that's on- that's on-
All right, guys, I'm losing you. We need to get through this. So if I wanted to create a list based on the user, I could use a for loop or a while loop, right? We could do a while loop just like we did with adding names, right? But instead of having instead of adding strings together, what are we doing? We're going to concatenate lists. Yes. So you can do this one of 2 ways. If I were to do it without using a loop, I'm just going to copy from the book right now. Cat1 is input. And then I would do for cat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I could do cat names equals brackets. I could do cat 1, cat 2. You can. Cat 3, cat 4, cat 5, cat 6. Haha, cat 7. Cat 7, cat 8, cat 9, cat 10. That is a lot of cats. I don't own a single cat. Just an FYI. So I could do it that way, which is pretty not awesome, because what if I only have 2 cats? How many cats is the code for? Well, what if I have 100 cats? It only is good if I have 10 cats. So I can't decide how long the list is. You can do a while loop. So we're going to do it with a while loop and a for loop. So while continue. Oh no.
You can actually do while or for, right?
Yeah, we're going to go through both of them. While carry is yes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put carry is yes. So I'm going to start by just getting into the loop. So you can say cat equals input. Please enter the cat name.
Is this something we're going to be doing with the bad guys in the game?
No. Well, yes, but no. We're going to add things to a list, but we aren't having the user do anything. We're having it randomly generate bad guys.
Oh, so we're gonna say like you want to carry on until they enter all the cat names.
So I need cat names to be what to start with? What?
What?
What, Ezra?
I just said like a random
Say
cat.
it again.
No. Not an actual cat name, but the variable cat names should be what?
Empty.
Empty bracket.
Empty string?
Empty, floating thing.
No,
Quotation marks.
no.
No.
We're dealing with lists now.
Brackets.
Empty brackets, yes. So we have cat names as an empty bracket. And how would we add cat to cat names? How do we add lists together?
Cat names equals cat names plus cat. Or is it the other way?
You're very close. You're missing something. How do we make just the name cat, whatever they type in, a list?
Oh.
We don't have, if we do that, it will make a list of the letters. We don't want to do that. We want the name itself to be its own list.
What if you put a variable in?
Nope.
Is it less equal?
Nope. We just need to do something to cat.
Oh, you need to put string. Bracket term.
Yep.
Oh.
Now we have a list of the cat name, and we add that to cat names. And when we're done, we will print cat underscore names. So this is going to be in second hour. Uh-oh. You guys see the error?
Yeah, that's like.
Of course I do. Where's the error?
You tell me.
Oh, it's because Carrie isn't. Wait, yeah, it is. It's very.
The error is here.
Double equal.
2 equals. Yep.
Yeah, David.
All right. Hopefully this works. Enter cat name. Give me cat name.
Mittens.
Fred.
I said mittens.
George.
Mittens is better.
Mine?
Means.
George.
Batman.
Golem.
Batman?
Uh-oh.
Gollum.
Chewy.
Furry.
Oh, my cat is bites.
My cat's name is Barry.
You guys notice something?
Oh. What's the dumb cat name?
It's been going forever.
You never asked us to end.
No, you haven't reset the variable.
So it just stores infinite value.
So what do I need to do?
You need to if statement. If statement.
No, you need to do carry equals input.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
If
it.
you're doing it true, you can do it next statement. And you can do it that way.
So you want to continue.
So you want to continue. All right. Now let's start over. So we have mittens.
Butterscotch.
Cat names. What?
Zach.
Probably the coolest cat name ever.
Stoppel.
All right, I'm done. So there we go. There we got our cat names.
Nice.
And that it only took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out instead of the 11. And this can go for as many cat names as the user wants. So what we're going to do is, in order to do this with a for loop, I'm going to copy this because a lot of it's the same. I'm going to comment that out. So instead of a for loop, or instead of a while loop, which is a condition-based loop, we need a for loop, which is a what-based loop.
Amount.
No, it was on your test. Most of you guys got it.
I know, I forgot though.
Yeah, because he said it right before the
No,
test.
Yeah, but it was multiple choice, so I got it right, but like I don't like remember what.
Condition
I just
Count,
don't
count.
count.
count, yes.
I
So
remember
if
that
I'm using
I
a
remember the wireless condition though.
If I need a need a number. So how do I get a number?
How many cats do you have?
There we go. So we do times or whatever is int
I think the error
input how many cats. Now what do we do? Do I need carry? So I'll get rid of that. Now instead of this while loop, what do I put? For keep going, Ezra.
Is it for x in times?
Close. I'm missing something for times.
Range.
Yes. Do cat name. And I think that's it.
Good job, Ezra. That was actually fire.
Wait, if I don't have carry up here, do I need carry in the loop?
No.
No,
Let's see if this works. How many cats? How many cats do we have?
17.
Jeez,
Oh,
no.
no.
25.
3.
3. What? That's so boring.
Oh, what? Yeah, 3 is not.
Boring. That's good cat name.
Because they just sleep all day.
That's all.
So there we go.
And
So those are the 2 ways to create lists
They sleep
based
so
on
far.
user inputs.
My cat's like,
Cat, while loops, and for loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So almost the same length of code.
Does class end in 10 minutes?
No, class ends in like 40 minutes.
what?
I've been lying.
Old man. It's an old man.
I don't know.
I can't
So,
schedule either.
2 more things. Okay. This is taking longer than I wanted, but so I'm copying this from the book. So please copy along. So supplies are pens, staplers, flamethrowers, and binders. So if I wanted to display each item in this list on its own line, what would I do?
You would use that format that you told us about.
I would do what?
The thing that where you're printing, you can choose which character goes in between spaces, right?
Yes and no. Actually, no.
Oh.
But you will need to do that in your homework, so I will go over that again.
Current range supplies.
No, I need to use a loop. I need to use a for loop.
Oh, because you want to print everyone individually.
Yes.
For X
Or
in range
supplies, for X in supplies. No, it's
I don't need range because I'm not using numbers.
Like
for X.
supply.
That's pretty neat.
Is the list supplies made up of things?
Yeah.
So do I need range?
No.
No, not really. If I'm just printing the things in the list like this, I can just for X in supplies print X. Now, remember, I would much rather see something like this as opposed to having X's everywhere.
Yeah.
So print for LM in supplies, print LM short for element. Now in the book, this next thing is very, very useful. Knowing this just increases your ability to manipulate lists, which is really good for coding. So I want to print both the index of the item and the item. I want to print the index of the item and the item. So in the book, index 0 in supplies is pens.
Yeah.
Anyone have any idea how to do that?
Isn't the LE or whatever that is,
Elm?
that's like your index, right? Isn't that directly related to your index?
No.
Okay.
Like you can't use LM with what we know so far to get the number.
Really?
No.
Because with the first one,
Right, but how do I get 0? I mean, I could use a running total and do 0 plus 1. I could do that, but
that's what I was thinking.
yeah, you could do it that way. But there's a slightly easier way to do it without having to bring in another variable. So instead, we want to work with, if we need indexes, we need numbers. Period. You've got to have a number for working with indexes. So what is a very easy way to get a number that directly correlates to how long the list is?
Length.
Yes. So we'll do for index in length supplies. Is that all I need? In the for loop? No, no.
You have to put
Range, yes. Length supplies is going to be a number, and I can't have for index in number. I have to have range number. Nope. Now, if I do this, I have print index 0, 1, 2, 3. So what I can do now is I can go, okay, so print, I can type index 0 in supplies is, what do I type here? Because currently this is what we have. We have everything we need except the actual index of the supplies. What was that, Josh? Nope, not +1. How do I print a specific thing in a list? How did I print just Monday?
Oh, you
list-
use like
yeah,
a
list
list one.
I used list 1, then what did I do? Bracket 0. So using this, what list are we working with right now? Okay. Let's try this. Let's see what happens. Okay, well we're almost there.
Yeah, 'cause
What do we need to change?
you need to increment that.
Yeah.
I need to increment, so what needs to be here?
Index.
Index.
Yep.
Nice.
I was gonna say.
Being able, guys, I will say this right now. Being able to understand this right here for index and range length supplies, and then printing the index or having, you know, supplies index is very, very useful.
Very.
Very, very useful.
Not just one berry, two berries.
Yes. What was that, Ezra?
What's an index again?
Index is the location of an item in a list.
Okay.
So like in supplies, let me find where. This is index 0. This is index 1, index 2, index 3.
I thought that was an element.
This is an individual element, but the location of an element is the index.
Ah, okay.
Peter.
I use the bathroom.
Sure. Questions? Comments? Concerns? No! No interpretive dancing!
I think having
It's not.
I don't, not here. Not here.
I don't.
I saw this funny meme and it was like.
Alright, so,
Like,
oh my gosh, I spent way too long on everything.
Probably did.
We probably know more than the other concept.
I spent too long. Alright, whatever.
You gonna have time for the interpretive dances?
No.
Josh, that's the cost.
Okay.
Alright, so a shortcut for this is instead of having for index in range length supplies, what you can do, and I didn't know this until this is a new thing in the book. For index, comma item in supplies, oh, and I'm sorry, not supplies, enumerate supplies, print So once you guys have that,
That just means in
is that a little simpler for you guys and lady? So what it's doing is it's basically it's breaking up supplies and giving you an index and an item. So normally when we do for x in range, the only thing we have is a number per loop, right? In a list, you can have both the index and the item. So does that mean we can have two things per loop?
Yes.
That's what this does, is it basically breaks up and gives you two items per loop. It gives you the index and the item. So instead of doing it this way, range, length, supplies, where we have to break it up ourselves by using the index and then using the index to get the supplies item, it breaks it up for you so you have index and item. Does that make sense? I hope so.
Oh,
Yeah.
change. Okay. I see.
A little bit. I think I prefer the other way better.
You will need to use enumerate in the homework though.
So index and item are the
They're not the same thing, but in a list, I can have an item, right? I can have the actual pens, but is there also a value associated with indexes here?
Yeah.
What's the index of this item?
0.
What is this item? Pens. Is that two things with one object in the list? That's what it's doing. There's two attributes per this element.
Can you spell that again?
Well, how does the book say it? Let me see if they say it a little easier way. On each iteration of the loop, enumerate will return two values, the index of the item of the list and the item in the list itself.
So enumerate is a built-in like.
It's a function like range
Okay.
and length. So enumerate combines range and length together and it returns two items. Tracking with me?
Oh, because you can't normally.
You would normally have to do index and then supplies index. This breaks it out into two things for you already.
Okay.
You will need to use that in your homework. After the homework, if you prefer doing it this way, I don't care.
So the second way, I didn't know you could have a for two things.
Yeah, we're going to get to that later, and especially in the advanced class. In the advanced class, you have 3.
Wow. Is there a limit?
If you write for it, I guess. Okay, last thing, and then we're done. And then you guys can work on homework. Sorry. We're gonna import random, not ransom.
Don't try to ransom the computer.
Let's say I want to randomly pick an option, an item from a list. Right. So I have supplies. I'm building a game that randomly selects one of these items. What do we need to do? We need random, right? Not ran. You could use rand.randint. That would be a little longer. If you were to do that, you would do random.randint. How long is supplies? How many items?
Length supplies.
So I'd have to do length supplies. But I need to start at 0 and then add 1 to supplies, right? So that's going to give me nope, I was wrong. I don't need that +1. Lengths of it needs to be -1 because I can't get bigger than 3. There we go. No, because length supplies -1 is taken as one whole thing. So this will now give me the index. I kind of forgot what I was doing. Oh, I needed to randomly select one. Now I can do supplies. There we go. That's a lot of code though, right? What you can do is random.choice supplies. Yep. Because this is a list. If this is not a list, you can put in, if you put, it will randomly select a letter. Or you can type in your own 1,6. And it will randomly select a number.
Ah, I like that. So it just chooses from a
It's either a list or a string.
so it just picks anything that it can pick.
If you, yes, it picks any of the elements. If you don't have it and you have it like this, you get an error.
Oh, you can also use range too, right? Then?
You could use range, yeah.
Okay.
And then last thing, and this is all going to be covered in the homework. I'm really sorry I went over. I know. I might give you guys the weekend to work on the homework though.
That's so nice of you.
Random dot shuffle.
As a sub.
Staplers, pens, flamethrowers, binders.
What? In random order?
Yep.
Ah,
It shuffles them up.
Is that specific for like lists?
So far, yeah. And that's it. I know you guys have questions. What are they? Yes.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Sure.
I know, right?
And I cannot.
What is online say name, error name, random is not defined?
You have to import random. Right here.
Import random.
So you will need in your homework to import random. So you guys now have the rest of the hour to work on that homework. I'm going to change the due date. Is Friday an off-campus learn? No, Friday's no school.
Standing move.
All right, that's going to be it.